In our modern culture, we have gotten to the point where sex before marriage is so normal that to find a relationship where a couple isn't having sex or where someone over the age of 15 is still a virgin surprises us. There's a common understanding amongst us, and especially amongst the younger generation, that going out on a date means ending that date in bed. Things weren't always that way. As recently as 20 years ago, we can find a difference in this attitude. While there was still a lot of premarital sex going on, having sex on your first date was still pretty rare. If we go back another 20 years, sex before marriage was limited to serious relationships. Going back another 20 years, and it was common to find couples who had been in dating relationships for a long time without experimenting with anything more serious than a kiss. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that we can go back far enough to find that premarital sex didn't exist. I'm quite sure that it always has. But it appears pretty clear that has become much more common in recent years. Not only is that true, but the age at which our youth are having their first sexual encounter is definitely getting younger all the time. So is this a problem? Is it affecting our society? Is it affecting the marriages that we enter into after dating around? According to a recent study by Dr. Joe McElhaney of the Medical Institute for Sexual Health in Austin, Texas, there is medical evidence to show that all this casual experimentation with sex before marriage is having a strong effect on marriages here in the United States. This negative effect on marriages comes from the way that sexual encounters affect the body's chemistry. During any intimate contact, the body secretes a hormone called oxytocin. The more intimate the contact, the more oxytocin is released. This chemical, like all hormones, has an emotional effect on the person. In the case of oxytocin, that effect is to make the person feel in love with the person they're having the intimate contact with. There's another hormone called vasopressin that's released in the male, causing him to emotionally bond to the woman. This hormone has been called the monogamy hormone because of the strong effect it has in bonding the man to his sexual partner to the exclusion of all others. Additionally, the hormone dopamine is released in the brain at orgasm. Dopamine is the chemical which causes the feeling of pleasure that comes from sexual orgasm. The combination of all these chemical effects literally forms the glue that holds the couple together. The problem comes in that repeating breaking of relationships and forming new relationships with other sexual partners actually diminishes the effect of these hormones on the person. The brain actually learns how to ignore the effects of these natural processes and refuses to form the deep emotional connection that is such a central part of marriage. So when it comes time to form a marriage bond with a life partner, the glue that is supposed to hold the couple together has lost its potency. Couples who go to their marriage bed as virgins are much more likely to have a fulfilling sexual relationship in their marriage and have a happier and more successful marriage as well. Maybe that's why God calls premarital sex sin in the Bible. If He created us, He knows better than anyone how we are designed to function. As a loving God, He would of course tell us to stay away from those things that could cause us harm, just as any parent would tell their child not to touch a hot stove. Yet most people look at the restrictions that the Bible imposes on us as being bad, as a way that God is stealing our liberty and trying to control us. No, it's not that. The Bible is just like the owner's manual for human life. Just as a car manufacturer gives you an owner's manual to tell you how to use the car and care for it, God has given us an owner's manual to show us how to care for and use the life that He has given us. I'm Rich Murphy, and that's the way I see it.